Hi guys, welcome back to Tom Mods Things. On this episode, we have got some more excitement going on with this Mk4 Supra front bumper that we are fitting to our Porsche Cayman. So those of you that watched the previous episode will know exactly kind of what stage we'd got up to. We've basically got to the stage where we have cut this Bomex Mk4 Supra front bumper. We have cut our Pandim Porsche Cayman bumper for the top section, and we have bonded the two sections together using construction sort of adhesive expanding foam to bridge the gap between the two and create a nice good join. We have screws and stuff in here at the moment and some around the side that are kind of holding this in place. So what is the plan of action? So basically what we're doing is we've got to kind of shape this. So at the moment we've kind of cut down to here just to kind of alleviate a bit of pressure and to basically get this to kind of sit nicely on this top section, because both shapes were kind of entirely different really between the two cars. So what we have is this kind of lip as it kind of comes over the top here. Don't really like that. So what I'm thinking we're going to do in essence is take kind of our section up here that would otherwise come down here. That's going to flow into this here, and then I reckon we're going to kind of come down to this kind of point down the bottom. So it's going to kind of come up here and then flow into that top. I reckon that's probably going to be sort of the best bet. And then what we can do here is then we can properly kind of blend between the two, and we can get a bit of an angle rather than having this kind of lump over the top. So first comes first, what we're going to do is we're going to mask up kind of what our area is going to be and exactly what line we kind of want to follow when we chop this section out. Then we're going to start removing those two edge screws. We'll leave the one in the middle, and then we're going to get the old trusty Titan out now, or Dremel, because we broke the one broke the Dremel on the last one. And then we're just going to basically just start chopping out these sections. Then we can get our fiberglass filler. I've got some fiberglass over there, and then I think the filler's over there somewhere at the moment. And then what we can do is then start to, graft the two bits together and get it all shaped. So I'm going to crack on and do that now. Right, so now we've got one side. You can kind of see why we were kind of chopping that bit off. So basically what we're going to try and do now is basically shape some of this foam, which obviously there's some gaps at the moment where we're going to probably maybe need to fill that out. And we're just going to kind of get our general shape around here. But I reckon that cut was pretty good on this side. Obviously we're going to need to do the same on this side. I was hoping that I might kind of be able to do more of that, but there's so much curvature on it that actually be good if I actually showed you. So much curvature on this at the moment that I don't think we're going to be able to use that necessarily. I suppose we could draw on a bit of paper and template it, or we just eyeball it. Yeah, let's just wing it. Let's just see what happens. So we're going to eyeball this side and then cut that section out. And then what we can do is then we can start to cut and form this foam, and then we can start to add our sort of fiberglass filler over the top of that, or glass over that, or glass first then fiberglass filler. We'll decide kind of when we get there which bit we do first. But yeah, well on our way. I reckon once we get that sort of transition, this is going to look really, really sick. Right, so after a bit of cutting, this is where we're up to. So you can start to see as we come round what this kind of shape is going to look like, where we kind of follow the lines down here and blends kind of into the front, and then we're doing the same over here where it follows that transition and then all the way down. Yeah, I think we're kind of getting there. Now, basically what we're going to look to do is we're going to add a little bit more of this foam kind of section in these gaps along here. Same principle across the back here, just to kind of pack this area out. Then what we're going to do is we need to scuff all these surfaces, and then we need to start laying a little bit of glass down. We're also going to do the same on the inside. So we'll start inside first. So we'll flip this over and then work on the inside to begin with. You would have seen as well on that previous thing, we've also got lots of sort of bits of damage, like cracks down here, chips down here, more cracks around here and stuff. So a lot of this stuff is going to need to get dug out and then re-glassed over the top and then smoothed. And then basically effectively what we're doing up the top here, but also down there as well. So a lot of work to crack on with. So we're going to basically bash out, we're going to put some more expanding foam in, wait till that expands, and then cut the section off so that we have this nice sort of bond between these two pieces, and then we'll get on to mixing some fiberglass up. Right, foam's been blobbed in, we'll let that set, and then we'll come back and we'll start to carve that shape. Right, so the next job we've done is we've just started to sand back kind of the areas and basically scratch up the surfaces where the fiberglass filler is going to be kind of bonding to, because otherwise if it's a really smooth surface, don't get as good a connection between the two. I can't think of the right word. Bond. That's the word. Don't get a good enough bond between the two, and so basically we want to scuff this up as much as possible to allow the sort of resin and fibres and stuff to kind of dig in as much as possible. So we're going to crack on, we're going to get this side sorted, and then we're going to start mixing up some of that filler. Right, so this is the stuff that we're using. This is just standard from Halford's, usual thing. Basically comes with the fiberglass filler. So this is filler that's kind of infused with fiberglass to kind of give it a little bit more strength. And then it comes with a activator. Basically there is measurements and stuff. I just end up blobbing it on until kind of once I've mixed it up it shows the right sort of colour, and the colour we're looking for is kind of this, where it sort of becomes almost like a peachy colour. So we've done this side already, we're basically covering this, and now what we're going to do is do the same on this side. What this is doing is basically, as you can see, giving us a much more uniform and flat surface to work with. It's also going to help with the strength between bonding these two sort of sections of this bumper, and then what we'll do after that is go over it with proper sort of body filler and stuff afterwards. We're also going to be using this as well as the actual fiberglass sheets to basically give a bit more strength behind, especially in the areas where we can see where we've got proper cracking, because ultimately you just filler over the top of this, the crack still remains underneath, and then you move it ever so slightly and then the crack will show back up again on the surface that you're trying to finish. So we need to make sure that we drill out basically at the end of each of these cracks, dig out a load of the stuff because we'll want to kind of fill it with some kind of new material, and then we'll back it obviously as well with the actual sheets to basically re-glass and add a load more structure into this lower bit. So yeah, I'm going to mix this up, I'm going to apply it over this side so we get a nice coverage all the way around, and then we can crack on with the rest of it. Right, there we go guys, so we've added another layer on. As you can see, our sort of transition starting to kind of take shape, where we're kind of blending it into this top section, and then the same kind of over this side as well, as we can see it. Still a little bit more work on this corner, we're going to kind of round it off I think a little bit more, and same up here where at the moment it's sort of got a bit of a bulge, but I think once this is kind of all dried we can really get at this kind of corner just to add a nice radius in, build it back up and smooth it over the top. But yeah, I think if we kind of step back here, overall the vision is coming together and I think this is looking pretty sick, to be fair. I reckon it's going to suit exactly what we wanted to do with this perfectly. We need to bin these off, we need to find something else to go in its place, some nice like LED rings. I think these may have LED halos in anyway, but they're looking a bit worse for wear. We'll see if they work and stuff, but yeah, I think we'll probably replace them something a bit more modern. Right, so we've bonded down all this inside edge. It's nice and solid now. We've just kind of been trimming a little bit at the sides. So what we're going to do is going to flip this back over and we're going to start to properly rework this surface around here, basically just to get it the nice sort of transition that we want between here and here. Alright, so we started making some more progress on the sort of sanding and starting to shape this top edge. As you can see, we've kind of got a bit of a bulge going on just in this section here. We've kind of managed to get out most of it here. It dips ever so slightly, so I'm not sure what we're going to kind of do around here. We've kind of got this transition where it kind of comes down here off of the sort of wide arch kit, and then what I wanted it to do was to kind of then flow into this front section. So what I'm thinking we're probably going to have to do is trim out this kind of all the way down to here to the front, just to kind of get that to line up kind of as kind of nice and intended as possible. And then I think this side doesn't have so much kind of a bulge in this area, but again I think we just kind of need to trim it back ever so slightly into the center section. But what we're going to do just now quickly is got the Cayman obviously outside, so we're just going to crack on and just line it up and just see what it actually looks like on the car at the moment, now that kind of the two bits are properly together and you can start to see some of the shape. Alright guys, moving on a little bit from where we just were in the video, but you know what, I have to kind of fit this in and around life in the evenings and stuff, so we didn't film it, but we've made a little bit more progress. As you can see, this area is looking so much better. Very, very good transition now happening between these two parts. This side a little bit less work than this one, but yeah, I think you can agree that that as a combination is looking pretty awesome, to be honest. We've still got some areas around this back section here to finish up with actually kind of creating the shape that we want for these sort of bits to merge into one another, but really happy with how this is looking across the front. And then sort of looking down from a down sort of top view, you can start to see the shape really come into play. And also we've removed that kind of little sort of lip bump that we had there. We want to keep these bits because this is kind of the iconic styling from the Bomex bumper, but what we wanted to do is obviously where we had to kind of reshape this whole front end, we wanted to make sure that this sort of transition up here to this point was kind of as smooth and nice as possible with the curvature. But what's really cool is we've really got our kind of shape round here to match the shape across here, and then these sort of areas here are starting to come together as well, so all of it is kind of tying itself in as one. So when you kind of see it from various different angles, it's starting to look so much better than it was. Really happy with how this is coming out. It's looking pretty sick, to be honest. Yeah, mega. It's going to look epic. So going to crack on, going to get some more smoothing and stuff, and then we'll show you where we get up to. Right guys, so we're up here at the moment. It's looking way better. We've just added a mist coat over the top after we've been sort of slaving away sanding down these edges, but I think you'll agree that these kind of edges and transitions now are looking absolutely epic. Keeping this sort of bulge section from the original Bomex bumper because that's kind of iconic Bomex styling, so definitely want to keep that. But I think, as you can see, this is definitely the vision coming to life, and it's definitely that sometimes the stupidest ideas turn out to be some of the best ideas, and I think this is definitely going to be one of them. So what we've been doing with the filling side of things is we've just been using this easy body filler from U-Pole. To be honest, most of the filler and fiberglass filler stuff that I buy is from U-Pole. It's kind of tried and tested, so it kind of just works for me. So yeah, so basically at the moment we are sanding it back, adding filler in places that we need to, sanding back, keep going, rinse and repeat. As you can see, we've got a couple of gouge marks which I'd missed because I couldn't see it before, and a couple of areas where we're going to need to kind of fill this in with either resin or filler, depending on what sort of strength we need. And then we also need to sort out what we're actually kind of doing around the back as well, because these areas on either side haven't kind of been finished yet, as we can see there. Right, so now we're kind of at this stage. I reckon we go and chuck it back on the car and see exactly what it looks like now with all this additional work that's happened up top. Right, there we go. That is what we're playing with now. I think you'll agree that this sort of front edge around here is looking way better now, especially in kind of keeping with the rest of the car. Yes, very happy with how this is coming out. And we'll just get it from the other side as well. It's an additional shot. Yeah, I think it looks pretty sick, to be honest. Definitely way different than anything else that's there. We're out sort of bumper wise for 987s at the moment, and then sort of as we come around here, we're still going to need to do some work just on this to kind of get this to transition into this bottom piece around here. But overall, very happy with how that's coming out. Yeah, wicked. Yeah, so plan of action is basically we need to crack on and get the top section of this all finished up so it's all nice and smooth. We need to fix these kind of edge pieces, and also we don't quite like how the arch liner is lining up at the moment, because obviously arches were sort of different on a Supra as they are on a wide body Cayman. So what we're probably going to do is cut that small section out of the pandem bumper, manipulate it slightly, and then bond it in place of what is currently there as the Bomex sort of edge of that bumper. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that'll work, and won't take too much additional sort of effort to get sorted and fixed. yeah, so pretty happy with how that's coming out. Back in the garage now because it is way too wet outside. But what that has done probably is put a bit of a stop to this at the moment. Jesus, what's going on with the hair at the moment? Has basically put a stop to this in the sense that we can't really do a huge amount, sort of with some of the fitment side of things outside when it's in the rain. So kind of what we might need to do is to put the 106 outside under a cover and then bring the Cayman inside so that we can get certain bits finished up. But yeah, that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Link in with TikTok and Instagram. We've been posting up loads of reels and various bits and bobs with kind of like little sneak peeks and like little snippets and stuff. What we're going to try and do is we'll do small format stuff on TikTok and Instagram, and then the long format, which will be basically the process start to finish, as we've seen with this, with all the kind of additional details of exactly kind of what's going on, what products are being used and stuff. We'll still keep on the long format YouTube videos, so that's kind of the difference that you'll see between the two. So don't forget to go over to TikTok and Instagram and follow if you'd like. So I'll see you later.